Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Real Sports Updates here. Back again. Another live stream. So, if you missed the last live stream, it was kind of towards the end. I kind of let the cat out of the bag a little bit. I'm doing some rebranding on the channel. I am, currently working on some other things behind the scenes. I'm going to be rebranding pretty soon. I'm going to have a new name for the channel, new logos, and all of that stuff. It's going to be coming very, very soon. But I also explained that I'm going to be venturing out to some more topics now. I'm going to continue talking Charger football because I am a fan, obviously, and I love talking Charger football. So all of that content is not going anywhere. But I am going to be venturing out and talking other topics, specifically, NFL topics. Going to keep it, pretty much strictly NFL. But I'm going to be venturing out and talking more topics, just regular NFL things. So that is going to be something that I'm doing. So obviously, you guys see the 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 thumbnail. So we're going to be recapping week 2. Um, any news on Herbert's health? I haven't heard anything as of yet. He's still day to day, I guess. A lot of people are comparing this injury to the Tyrod Taylor injury. That Tyrod Taylor, I think he suffered that one in week 1 of the 2020 season. That's what jump started, Herbert's career. But I haven't heard anything about, whether or not he's going to play. They've been keeping all of the news pretty close to the vest. There hasn't even been any like leaks or anything either. So everything has been kept under wraps as of right now. But we're going to find out soon. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so they're going to be practicing Wednesday. They're going to be putting in stuff, getting ready for Jacksonville practice as well too. They haven't really released anything. I haven't seen a practice report, so it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with that going forward. This is a significant injury. I think a lot of people are not they're bad injury. We hope and we pray that it's not a bad injury, but really you guys hear me. Am I back? Am I back now? Am I back? Okay. I think I'm back now. Okay. So, all right. Let's see. Do you think our defense is good enough to win with our backup quarterback? The defense is good enough to win, but the Jaguars can score points too. So that's another thing to think of. We're not. It's not just going to be a pushover game. Chase Daniel can't do anything that Justin Herbert can do. So this is going to be interesting to see. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how that you know is going to take place. But we'll see how that works out going forward. Let's see. Is the connection back? Okay. I think the connection is back here. Let me just make sure. Okay, yeah, I think that I'm back. Sorry about that. I think my Wi-Fi just kind of went out for a second. Okay, yeah. Okay, Robert, you said I'm back. Cool. All right. I just want to make sure it doesn't go out again. Just want to make sure it doesn't go out again before. Let's see. Let's see. I'm just checking my settings here. Okay, cool. Cool. All right. So I wanted to get into week 2. I want to talk about week 2. Just through 2 weeks of the season, right? The Buffalo Bills are the best team in the league by far. There is no other team that is doing what they're doing. And there really isn't, until the Chiefs prove that they are still the same team and they still have the same caliber offense. I think the Bills are up there alone right now. It's just been a combination of everything. Uh, Obviously, Josh Allen is playing at a very, very high level. He picked up from that playoff game last year. He hasn't missed a beat. He hasn't missed a step. Their defense is really impressive right now, man. Their defense is really getting after it. They have improved vastly over the past 2 years. I remember 2 years ago, they needed a lot of improvements on the defensive end. They made those. They got better last year, but this year they look elite. And they have very, very good pass rushers. Greg Rousseau is a monster, a very, very young dude, but he gets to the quarterback. He collapses the pocket. He pressures the hell out of the opposite quarterback. I've watched him a lot. I'm very impressed with him. And obviously the big signing was Von Miller. Von Miller was probably the biggest and best signing that any team made throughout the offseason. That dude is something else, man. And when you add him to a ready-made defense, where he can come in third downs and really, really, put pressure on the quarterback and close out games like he's been known to do. Like that is very, very, very dangerous. They're up there by themselves. The Bills are up there by themselves. And really has just been a combination of everything. Josh Allen is playing well, but it's also been the play calling as well too. When you look at the offensive coordinator there in Buffalo, Ken Dorsey, right? If I don't know how many people are college football fans. If you're a college football fan, you know Ken Dorsey, right? Ken Dorsey played for one of the best college football teams of all time, right? The U. He was surrounded by a bunch of NFL talent. He played with a bunch of NFL guys. Now his NFL career didn't pan out the way that he wanted it to pan out, but he's still a legend in my eyes. So, obviously he went into coaching and, he was under Brian Dable for a couple of seasons in Buffalo. And now he's there, he's calling plays now for Josh Allen. I think he seems to be a little more aggressive than Brian Dable even was last year. Brian Dable is, he's been known to be a aggressive here and there. He's been known to have an aggressive mind when it comes to offense, but Ken Dorsey is, I think he will end up being better than Brian Dable in Buffalo. Now, I don't know how Brian Dable's going to do as coach of the Giants, but Ken Dorsey is a guy, he played the position. He played the quarterback position. So I think he has a lot of experience. And I think he has a unique experience because he played with so many great guys in college. He played with a bunch of NFL dudes in college. So I think his experience actually playing in that is going to go like very, very, very far for Josh Allen. Josh Allen is playing with the stacked team right now, and the Bills are they're ahead of everybody else. Now, the only issues I think that the Bills really have is, can they run the ball, and do they want to run the ball? I think they can if they wanted to, but can they run the ball with running backs? Do they, with running backs, can they run the ball? Josh Allen obviously runs the ball a lot, but can they run the ball with their running backs? If they can run the ball with their running backs, they're going to be unstoppable offensively. And then number 2 is the mistakes. Sometimes they get sloppy. Sometimes they, fumble. Sometimes they make mistakes on the offensive line, false starts, things like that. If they can clean that up and make sure that that is clean, again, they're going to be unstoppable. They look like they are ahead of everybody else. They are clearly steps ahead of everybody else. So if they get that together, they are going to be fine. And they are really the betting favorite for everybody to win the Super Bowl now. And it's the smartest bet to have right now because nobody can stop them. There's not a team right now, I believe in the AFC, Chargers included, that can stop these guys. There's no way. There's no way. They're going to put up points. Their offense is just so lethal. They move the ball. They continually put pressure on the defense. They push the ball. They have that aggressive mindset. And if they avoid turnovers, they're going to be unstoppable. This is going to be one of the teams that is going to be very, very, very hard to stop, man. Very, very hard to stop. I think that they are, again, they're the favorites. They're the favorites. And, until another team in the AFC comes along and shows that they are at that point, I don't think anybody's going to beat them. They're my pick to get to the Super Bowl right now. Just right now, there's still a lot of season left, but as of right now, the Bills are the team to beat, and they're the team to get to the Super Bowl for me personally. I want to transition into Philadelphia. We seen the game last night. You watched the game last night. Philadelphia, they pretty much dismantled the Minnesota Vikings. Now, the let's not even bury the lead. Let's not beat around the bush. Jalen Hurts looks fantastic. He looks absolutely fantastic. And I think most of that has to do with Shane Steichen, offensive coordinator, and, obviously Nick Sirianni, the head coach, right? The video that I made, or the video that I posted earlier today, comparing the younger offensive guys and their philosophies to the Joe Lombardi philosophy of the offensive coordinator of the Chargers. It's night and day, man. These guys are really, really doing a lot with, a little. They're not given very, very much to work with. Jalen Hurts was as raw as a prospect can be coming out of college, right? Alabama/Oklahoma. He was raw. He was extremely raw. And there really wasn't a whole lot of, hope as far as his NFL career went as a quarterback, right? He was one of those guys coming out of college that there was a lot of people, really looking at him to switch positions, right? Maybe go to running back or tight end or something like that. It was kind of he fell into that category, right? Of the really productive guy in college who can't really run the NFL concepts and can't do a lot of things, at the end, at the NFL level, right? For a quarterback. He was one of those guys. He is now a guy that looks extremely well. He threw the ball extremely well yesterday. Against a pretty good Vikings defense as well, too. The Vikings got some players on defense. That was not an easy task at all. That was not a pushover defense. They looked very, very good. The one thing we knew about Philadelphia coming into the season, we knew that they can run the ball. We knew that they can run the ball. They did it a lot last season. They ran the hell out of the ball last season, right? They led the entire league in rushing. And that's what they had to do to have success last season. That's what Nick Sirianni knew what he had in his guys, and that's what they had to do. So coming into the season, we knew they can run the ball. Jalen Hurts has been working on his game. His delivery looks a lot precise. His footwork in the pocket looks a lot more cleaned up, a lot more polished than it did last season or previous seasons. He clearly has been working on his individual quarterback game, but I think he's a guy that he's taking strides, and he's impressive, man. He is impressing a lot. I really like what Jalen Hurts is doing. I think he's a guy that's going to continue to get better. He's a hard worker. He keeps his head down. He kind of stays out of the press. He's not really, talking a whole lot, but I love what Jalen Hurts is doing. I think he is a guy that is, you're gonna have to look out for him, right? He could be a Pro Bowler this year, and if the Eagles continue this, especially with the way that their defense was playing as well, too, they can be, number 1, number 2 seed in the NFC at the end of the year. There's not a whole lot going on in the NFC as far as teams are concerned, right? You look at Tampa Bay and Tom Brady; they look okay now, but as far as injuries and things go, and when you get down the road, are they going to be able to hold up? We don't know, but I don't know, man. The Eagles are really, really impressive. They are extremely impressive. And, they are aggressive and very, very stout at the line of scrimmage on both sides. So when you look at the weapons, with the running game, with them being physical at the line of scrimmage, offense, defense, they're impressive. They are going to really, really do some damage, I think, in the NFC coming up this season. Barring any injury and things like that, I think they're really, really going to do some stuff. Thoughts on Lions offense through 2 weeks, tied for second most points with the Chiefs. The Lions are improved as well, too. Amon-Ra St. Brown, former USC receiver, he looks really, really good. I think the Lions, they have a lot of talent. And, I said this when I first started this channel. I think if they got some more players this season and next season, right, just through the draft, maybe get some free agent bargains, whatever. They have talent there. Jared Goff is a guy. He got to a Super Bowl, right? I mean, he doesn't get really a lot of credit for it. Sean McVay was the guy to really, really, orchestrate that. But he did the work on the field, right? He did enough to get to the Super Bowl. So Jared Goff, he can play, but he has to be surrounded by a lot of talent. You can't have Jared Goff out there, pretty much alone, right? You can't have him out there with a bad offensive line. You can't have him out there with below average offensive weapons. He's going to look bad. He's going to look like the surroundings around him. He's not a guy that's going to elevate everybody else. Everybody around Jared Goff has to elevate him. When things are good around him, then Jared Goff can be good. But yeah, I've been impressed with the Lions, especially in week 1, considering how well the Vikings defense the Eagles defense played last night, considering how well they played last night against Minnesota. Detroit put up a lot of points on them, and that looks a lot more impressive than it did before. And I think they're going to make some noise. I don't know about playoffs and all of that stuff, but Detroit looks good though. They do look good. And as crazy as Dan Campbell seems, he seems like a oddball type of guy. The locker room likes him though, and they're playing hard for him. Like they like him. They like their relationships that they have with him. They seem to dig what he's doing, right? He comes off odd, strange sometimes in the press conferences, but they seem to like him. They really do. They really seem to like him, and they are responding to his coaching. I think the offensive coordinator change was a huge thing as well too. The former coach of the Chargers, Anthony Lynn, I think he was the offensive coordinator there last season, and the offense didn't look good. I don't even know. I can't even remember the last time Anthony Lynn was a coordinator, or if he even was a coordinator before he got the Charger job. So that might have been his first time doing that, or maybe his first time doing it in a while. Things didn't come together last year, but they also have more talent this season. And, a new offensive coordinator, I think it's the same system, though. So a lot of things are familiar in the second year. These guys are a little more comfortable in the city that they're in, a little more comfortable with each other. There's a lot of younger talent on this team as well, too. So I think they're good. Jameson Williams, he come back. Yeah, Jameson Williams is going to make this roster even more explosive than what it is. They have talented young receivers, and Jameson Williams can take the top off the defense. So it's going to be a very, very good offense. Going to be very good. They're going to be very fun to watch. I don't think a lot of people were expecting this from the Lions this early in the season, but they look competent, and that's not something you can say for the Lions, right? Especially over the past 15 years or so, they haven't just looked competent, and that's the main thing that teams, who are trying to get it together, in rebuilding mode and all of that stuff. Do you look competent? And if you look competent, then you're okay. You're gonna be fine. So yeah, I think the Lions are very good for now. I think they're impressing. I think they are going to, they're probably going to hit some roadblocks in the middle of the season. They have young guys on the team, but it's to be expected. And the way that they respond on the other side is going to determine how the season goes. If they get down and out, down in the dumps after a couple of losses in a row, then I think it could possibly snowball. I don't know, but we'll see. But they do have young guys, but they are responding to Dan Campbell. I'm happy to see that they are playing well. So definitely happy for them. And I'm looking forward to watching them as well too. I haven't seen any other games yet, any full games, just highlights. But I'm looking forward to seeing them. They're going to be a team to watch out for. I think coming down the line. So yeah, Detroit's looking good. So cover the Bills, cover the Eagles. Now I want to cover a team that is in the AFC West. The Las Vegas Raiders are what we thought they were. Now, I made videos, prior to the week 1 matchup with the Chargers. I made several videos, had a bunch of Raider fans in my comments, telling me how stupid I was for thinking that Josh McDaniels is a fraud, for not thinking that Derek Carr is a great quarterback and that he's not on par with Justin Herbert. I had all those Raider fans in my comments. Now, everything has come to fruition, right? The Raiders are not a good team, guys, and that's just what it is. Like, people are talking about the comeback, and obviously they they let the Cardinals win that game. The Raiders had that. They're up 20-0. They blow a 20-point lead. The Raiders are just not a good team. And the reason why they are not a good team is for the reasons that I said they are not a good team. They are weak up front on both ends. They're weak on the offensive line. They're weak on the defensive line. They really do not have anybody to, really hold up at the line of scrimmage on either side. So if you don't have that, then you are primarily just a team that is relying on your weapons, right? And you cannot just rely on weapons. You can't do it. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. You have to have a solidified offensive line. Their running game is pretty good. Their running game is decent. Josh Jacobs is a decent runner. They ran the ball pretty well against the Cardinals. I don't know why they stopped. I don't know why Josh McDaniels decided to stop running the ball in the second half. But they were running the ball for chunk plays, right? They were getting 10 and 12 yards. But the one downside to having all those weapons is that all of those guys are typically not going to be happy at the same time, right? If Darren Waller is getting, a bunch of targets, then, Davante Adams might be a little upset that he's not getting as many targets, and vice versa. And Hunter Renfrow, that's the one downside to having all of those targets, and all of those guys are really making a lot of money. They're taking up a lot of cap with just the 3 pass catchers that they have. They did not spend any money on the offensive line. They didn't spend any money on the defensive line, interior defensive line. The Raiders are just not a good team. And I tried to tell people this, and they did not want to listen. Chandler Jones, he signed a pretty big contract. He's up there in age now. I think he's aging out of the league. His skills have diminished, a lot, and you can see it on tape in these first 2 games. No sacks. I don't know. I just don't know what to say. I told everybody this. You cannot spend money on, all of the non-essential stuff before you have your lines, solidified. And that's how you win in football. That's always been the formula. Offensive, defensive line. That's how you win in football, right? That is how you win. You have to have those positions shored up, because if you don't have them shored up, then things are going to look ugly, right? You're not going to be able to get the stops that you need, and you're not going to be able to protect your quarterback fully. So if you don't have those things shored up, things are going to be very, 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 very difficult for you. And it doesn't matter who you have on the outside either. It doesn't matter. You can have the best receiver, best tight end. It doesn't matter. You have to start up front. You have to build your team inside out. That's the way to do it. That's always been the way to do it. There are a lot of guys who think that they can reinvent the wheel when it comes to building a team and all that stuff, but you really can't. It's always been this way. It's always been this way. You have to build your team from the inside out. If you don't, you're going to have a tough time. And it sucks that there's so many hard-headed GMs, so many hard-headed coaches out there who think that they can, do it their way, right? Regardless of what the NFL has been for the last, 60, 70 years, whatever it's been, right? They think that they can do it their way, and they think that they're going to be the guy who's going to make it work. And it's just like, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen, especially over a long season. It just doesn't happen. And that's just not the way to do it. So you're seeing what's going on with the Raiders, and, they are learning the hard way. Now, they do have issues at quarterback. Derek Carr is not the guy that the Raiders think that they have, right? I think Derek Carr was good. I think Derek Carr was good with what he had last season. I think he was good in that position. I think he was good with kind of pulling that franchise out of a black hole. There was a lot of stuff going on. Derek Carr is a guy, he's religious, right? He was able to, speak positivity into the team and kind of be that leader. And I think that was good for the team last season. This season, this comes with expectations. You get Davante Adams, right? You make him the highest paid wide receiver in the league. There's expectations with that. And Derek Carr is not that guy. Derek Carr is not a guy that's going to elevate receivers. He's just not that guy. And, I think the Raiders are really finding out the hard way. It's not, the receivers do not elevate quarterbacks. Quarterbacks elevate receivers. And, I don't know how anybody in that building doesn't know that by now, but it's facts. It's just facts. It's just what it is. Quarterbacks always elevate receivers. It doesn't matter if Derek Carr and Davante Adams, are best friends and, they've been best friends since college. None of that matters. None of it matters at all. Nobody cares. And the thing about it is that you can go about it, you can, act like you are all good and stuff on the field, but the results are not going to show. They're just not going to show. Devontae Adams I can't remember how many catches he had last year, over 107 catches or whatever it is, right? But how many plays do you run during the season, right? What's the average team run? About 60 plays. That's, over a span of 16 or 17 games, right? You're talking about over 800 plays. Devontae Adams had, 20% of that on a good year if he's dominating, right? 110 catches, that's 110 catches, maybe 12, 13 touchdowns, whatever. That's 20, 15% of the offense. What are the other plays, right? You still have a lot more offense to run. So everything can't just be centered around Devontae Adams. You need to have a running game, a good running game that you're going to stick with. You need to develop chemistry with your other receivers as well, too. When Devontae Adams gets doubled, you need to go to other guys. You have to. And Derek Carr's just not the guy. He's just not the guy. He's not the guy. It doesn't matter who's there. They're not going to elevate him. Derek Carr is what he is. Like I said, he is the West Coast version of Kirk Cousins. That's who he is. He's West Coast Kirk Cousins. And a lot of Raider fans get offended by that, but you have to think about that. Kirk Cousins in his career is 60 and 60. Derek Carr is like 40 and 70 or something like that. So that is it's actually a compliment. And Kirk Cousins has a playoff win too. So I don't know what the insult there is. Derek Carr is Kirk Cousins. He's West Coast Kirk Cousins, except Kirk Cousins has a better record. He has better numbers, and he has a playoff win. And Derek Carr doesn't have any of that. So it's not a negative thing to be called Kirk Cousins. It's just you have a ceiling, and you're not going to go past that ceiling. It doesn't matter who you have there. It doesn't matter who your coach is. It doesn't matter how much talking you do about it. You're just not going to get past that ceiling. And that's the Raiders are at a point where they're seeing that Derek Carr has a ceiling, and he's never going to get past it. This is his, I believe, his 10th year in the league now, 10th, 10th year. He's played more football than he has in front of him. He's not going to get any better now. He's not going to get better. This is who he is. So it is up to you as a coach. It's up to you as a franchise to make sure that this guy has what he needs so he can win. Do not come in with these lofty expectations thinking that this guy is going to take you to the promised land. He's not Peyton Manning, right? He's not Tom Brady. He's not going to do that. He's never been that in his career. And it is foolish to think that he is going to step up and be that at this point now. So, hey, it is what it is. But that's what the Raiders are dealing with right now. And I think the Raiders are not they're not going to be happy at the end of the season with the way that this turns out. Josh McDaniels is a fraud, as I've said before. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's not an offensive genius. People get on TV, they get on, the mainstream sports media, they get on my nerves. They get on TV and they talk all of this stuff. I don't know who said, maybe one person said this many years ago, that Josh McDaniels is an offensive genius, and he is not. He has been proven to not be an offensive genius. All of his offenses are not good, and he's had several stops. This is his third stop outside of New England. His third stop. His first one with the Broncos. Second one, the 1 year stint as the offensive coordinator with the Rams. This is now his third stop. Head coach in Las Vegas. His offenses are not good. They do not change the game. His offenses are mediocre, average, below average. That's what Josh McDaniels is. He's not an offensive genius. You look at Mike McDaniel. You can say that guy's probably an offensive genius, right? Through 2 games, Tua looks like a different quarterback. You can look at Nick Sirianni, Shane Steichen. They have completely revamped Jalen Hurts, right? A guy who couldn't even throw in college is now dominating in the NFL. That's probably offensive genius. Josh McDaniels hasn't done any of that. Tom Brady gets the credit for all of that, all of it. Tom Brady was the reason why the Patriots were successful. Tom Brady was the reason why they have Super Bowls. Tom Brady is the reason why. It's not Josh McDaniels. He has, he has something to do with it, but most of the credit goes to Tom Brady. If you're giving a credit pie just between those two, Tom gets 90 and Josh gets 10. That's it. He hasn't done anything outside of the New England organization, and people are starting to see it now, and he's a fraud. And I tell you this, if the Raiders lose to the Titans next weekend, it is going to be a you-know-what show in Las Vegas. because they cannot lose to a team that just got smoked 41-7. They cannot do that. And if they do it, if they lose next week, and if they look bad on offense again, man, it is going to be explosive. That's all I can say for that. So let's see. I'm gonna get to this question before I get out of here. Yo, what's going on, my man? Hope Herbert can come back sooner than later. I hope so. But like I said, it's only going to be just and just have to sit here and wait because there's nothing that they can really do to make that injury heal any faster than what it is already. So all they can really do is just sit there and wait for him to be good enough to go back out on the field. Right now, they can give him some injections, but the doctor who with Tyrod Taylor is the same guy. Obviously, calls for a concern just within itself, but it has to get to a point where he can't do any more damage. And I don't know if he's at that point yet or not. Like I said, the Chargers haven't said anything. They haven't done anything. They haven't put anything out there. So we don't know. We have no idea. But all I can say at this point is that Chase Daniel as the backup is disaster waiting to happen. So I'm hoping and I'm praying, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I don't know, man. Herbert has to heal up. He just has to heal up. Do you know if he's playing this weekend or more than like I don't know. I have no idea. The Chargers haven't said anything at all. They haven't said nothing. They haven't put anything out over the past weekend. I've been searching up and down. They haven't put anything out. Nobody knows anything. So it's going to be interesting to see if he does play this weekend. Hopefully they're able to take care of business and they're able to pull him out of the game early. I would hope that they do something like that. But you got to remember, Jacksonville has some guys on the defensive line who can get to the passer, and they're young and they're athletic. So, I don't know. Do what you will with that information, but that's out there. So, it's not looking great. Not looking great. That's all I know. So, but yeah, man, that's really all I got. I just want to come on and do this live stream really quick. Touch on a few topics that I felt were important in week 2. I'm going to be doing more of these as time goes along. Again, I'm going to be rebranding a little bit, working on that right now. I will definitely be announcing it soon when everything is all complete, but that is what I'm working on right now. So, going to be doing more stuff outside of the Chargers. Going to be more videos. There's going to be more content. So hopefully you guys are able to enjoy that just as much as you enjoy the Charger content. But that is all I got for this live stream, guys. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go catch some dinner. I will be back with more content tomorrow, more Charger content tomorrow, so don't worry. But thank you guys so much for all the support. And yeah, so I will be seeing you guys tomorrow. Thank you, guys.